Hey friends, I am Vanessa Sasser-Holt, and I'm excited to be with you as part of NCBOLD 2022. Thanks for joining my session. Just like Bruno, we won't be talking about NCWiseOwl anymore. In this session, you're going to find out a bit about the great content-rich resources that NC educators have had access to for years, where they're going to be located now, and some of the best ways for you to use those in your classroom and with your students. So you can join this presentation by scanning the QR code at the bottom of the screen or by typing in and joining with the bit.ly link. I'm excited, so let's get started. Before we move on to content, I want to check your prior knowledge. I'm going to ask you 2 questions about NCWiseOwl and let you answer those using Mentimeter. If you have this presentation pulled up in another screen while you're watching the video, you can simply click on Mentimeter, or you can use your phone and scan the QR code. I'm going to click here and we'll take us right out. So, first question, what year did NCWiseOwl begin offering online subscription resources for schools? Take just a moment and answer. Question number 2, what does the WOL in NCWiseOwl stand for? I'm going to give you a moment to answer that and submit your response. So we're going to take a look at those results in just a few minutes, but let's continue with our session. Now, we know that knowledge is power, and we want our students to have access to information that is reliable, that's relevant and appropriate. And we, as part of the public school units in North Carolina, have access to 2 amazing resources, Britannica School and EBSCO. So when we're talking about that, we know that those 2 resources are some great sources for reference centers, journal articles, newspapers, magazines, primary sources, ebooks, journals, and so much more. These paid subscription resources are available to each one of the PSUs in North Carolina. We encourage you to use those resources with your students in your classroom and share them with your school and district. We're going to delve into those in just a few minutes and talk about where they are and what is available. So I will tell you that everything now is located in one safe and easy place. The same quality resources in a new location. You remember NCWiseOwl and what that looked like years ago, looking at the elementary school zone, the middle school zone, and high school zone. But now all of these quality resources are going to be found when you log into your NCEdCloud, and that is for staff and for students. It's a great way to have everything in one location. You might say, why? Why did they choose to move that? The old server was an outdated method to hold all of those NCWiseOwl resources. Those paid subscriptions were password protected. So by moving all of those things into the NCEdCloud, those were password protected because students and staff log in. And it was a great way to share content with students that was age or grade level appropriate. So now things are kind of divvied out for elementary, middle, and high school without a lot of navigating for students. What does it look like when you log on as an educator to your NCEdCloud? And these have been changing. They've been updating over the last several months. If you log in now, your screen would probably look mostly like mine. At the top, you see the icons are all alphabetical order. We have Britannica staff, EBSCO staff, and now you'll see some additional NC educator resources, North Carolina student resources, and the resources toolkit icon that you can click and access those things very quickly. So we're going to take a moment and go to the EdCloud, NCEdCloud, and we're going to click through, and I'm going to show you just a couple of things on those resource sites. So I've logged into my NCEdCloud, and you can see I have Britannica staff, I have EBSCO staff. Some things that have been added recently is the North Carolina Educator Resources, North Carolina Student Resources, and the amazing resources toolkit for Britannica and EBSCO. We're going to take a quick look at the Britannica staff. Now, as a staff person, as a teacher, you have access to all three levels, elementary, middle, and high school. You can click on any of those and navigate the content for that grade level. Students in grade level spans, kindergarten through third grade, through possibly sixth grade, middle, and high school will only have access to their grade level span. In Britannica school, you do have some additional resources, and we'll look at those a little bit later. Moderna and Escalar are two amazing new resources. We're going to take a quick look at the high school level. And we're going to scroll down. Lots of amazing choices for you to search from. A little bit later in our time together during our in-person presentation, you will have time to explore all of the things in EBSCO and Britannica. We're just going to do a quick search for biographies and look around. Some things that I want you to be aware of. There are some amazing tools that are available for students to use. You can change the reading level for the article that you are looking for. There is also the option to translate or listen. It will read to, you can print it, you can send to, you can email it, you can send it to Google Classroom or directly to your Google Drive. And the citation tool is very important. This is a great way for students to accurately cite their source when they are doing research. You can simply use the drop-down tool and copy the correct citation. This is a game changer, especially for middle and high school students. Now we're going to take a look at EBSCO. Remember that you have access to all the levels for students. If you have elementary students, they're only going to be able to access that K through third grade. We're going to scroll down. Points of View is a database. It is a great place for high school students if they are doing argumentative research. Again, it has those same tools to be able to use. Points of View, Literary Reference Center. This is a great place for high school students that are completing their literary analysis work. And you can simply use a keyword search. I know that the last book that we read and worked with one of our English classes was A Raisin in the Sun. One thing that I want to draw your attention to are the navigation tools on the left-hand side of the screen. I always suggest that we start with full text. And when we scroll down again, and I'm sharing this with my students as well, sometimes it's a great idea to go ahead and change your source type. So if I'm working with a high school group and they are working on a literary analysis, I would suggest that they choose literary criticism and maybe plot summaries. So that's going to narrow down those searches. One thing that I do direct their attention to are the icons that are listed along with the sources. If it's a book, a periodical, an academic journal, these are just some great tools to think about when you're sharing this with your students. Now, for our purposes, we're just going to take a look at the first one. This is from Masterplots. We always have the basic information. When you scroll down, you should be able to see some of the subject terms that you would have in this article, an abstract or the brief synopsis. It also provides you with the reading feature. Students can listen. And when you scroll through, students can read through that article as well. On the left-hand side of the page, if they're not seeing the full text at the bottom of this screen, you can always click HTML full text and that will populate on your page. Now, let me direct your attention to the right side of the screen. The tools inside of all of these wonderful resources are amazing. Obviously, you can print or you can email it and save it. We want to direct your attention, if your PSU uses Google Classroom, you can quickly embed this into your Google Classroom or save it in your Google Drive. Two tools that we always direct students' attention to are the cite and the permalink. We tell students you always have to tell where you found your information and you have to tell it accurately. So we use that citation tool. By clicking that, your citation formats come in the middle of the screen and you can scroll down and select the one that you are using at your school level. Another great option is the permalink. This is the permanent link that has all of the embedded code directly to this source for you to be able to get back to. So there's no need to go back to the general search and kind of navigate and filter through those search results. It is not what's listed in the URL box up at the top of the screen, but it is this permanent link that you can save and get directly back to this document when you're logged into your NCEdCloud. Permalinks are a game changer for middle and high school students and for staff as well. Let's take a quick look at the student view. Here, students have access to Britannica Elementary and EBSCO, depending on their grade level. We're going to take a quick moment and log in as a student so you can see what students see on their end. When you're logged in as a student, they have access to Britannica and EBSCO based on the grade level access that they are assigned, elementary, middle, and high school. Let's take a look at Britannica Elementary. And you can see that students have access like they have before. Let's take a moment. We're just going to do a quick review of biographies. And we're going to start with the A's, and we're going to take a look at Kwame Alexander. Students can scroll through. You can assign students, obviously, a biography, but you have drop-down menus that are available that they can continue reading from. What I do want you to notice is that you can choose, the students can choose between two different reading levels. They do have the tools that are available on the side, and they do have the read aloud option to be able to have this read to them. So this is a great opportunity for students to be able to explore and based on their reading level, choose one that works best for them. Again, these tools that are available at the top, they can send it to an email, they can add it to their Google Drive, it can be added to Google Classroom, they can print. We always talk about citing our source. We have to tell where we found our information. And again, when they choose that citation tool, that button, it does allow them to choose their citation style, and they can simply copy and paste this citation. Again, it does have the listening option, so, and a translation if needed, videos and images that would go along with it, and any related topic information. Let's take a look at EBSCO for elementary students. And here, students have access to Explorer, to Novelist K8+, and then EBSCO Host, which is an alternate to Explorer. And when you scroll down, there are always additional resources in the resources toolkit, NC resources for students, and NC resources for educators and parents. And again, these are available as an icon that are on students, NC student resources and the resources toolkit, so students can access those as well. Let's take a quick look at Explorer for elementary through grade 3. So we're just going to do a quick check. You can do a keyword search, an advanced search. Students can sign in if they would like. we're just going to click biographies again. And I'm going to choose Blackbeard quickly for this example. So you're here at a database, and Explorer has tons of resources for you to be able to use. I would also suggest that you explain to your students how these search results can be refined, choosing full text, choosing their source type. If you want them to be in a certain lexile range for reading, you can do that as well. So for our purposes today, remember, I always talk to our students about what type of document this is, a periodical, there are books, journals, magazines. So for this, I'm going to click the first one. This first example, this comes to us in a PDF. Students can look through this and read this on their own, but you can also select the full text on the left-hand side of the page, HTML full text. And when that opens up, this provides you with the listening option, the read aloud. So students can listen to that read aloud if they need to. And again, these amazing tools that are available, you can send it directly to Google Classroom or their Google Drive. They can create a folder and print, but two that we always talk about is the citation tool and the permalink. The citation tool, again, we talk about where you found your information, and students have to tell where they found it. And we have them simply copy that correctly formatted citation based on the citation format that they're using. And then again, the permalink. It is not what's in the URL box. It's here in the permalink box that has specific codes and markers to get a student directly back to this document using the permalink without having to go through and filter their search results again. This is a great tool. Now we're going to take a moment to look at the EBSCO and Britannica resources coverage and grade level list. That is linked here in this presentation. So if you're watching the video and you also have this document, this presentation pulled up, I'd suggest that maybe you pause it in just a moment and you can review those as well. So we're going to click here, open up this document. These are the general reference ebooks and publications that are available by the grade level span. Staff have access to all of these amazing resources. So things that maybe you've used in the past that would be listed here. You can see what's available for elementary, middle, and high school. Things that are subject-based reference centers, there are some amazing resources, and they are available for upper elementary and high school and staff as well. So if you're in a high school and you have CTE teachers with business and marketing, you have health science classes, you have the auto tech classes, there are some fantastic subject-based reference centers. For English and social studies, these are great resources. And then one thing I want to draw your attention to that we'll look at also in just a few minutes are these digital archives, the Civil War and Revolutionary War era materials. These are available for upper elementary and high school and staff. When you scroll down on this document, you will get a description for each one of these amazing resources. I want to draw your attention to Britannica Escolar. This is for elementary and middle school students. It is accurate and age-appropriate content in Spanish. It is an amazing, valuable resource for native Spanish speakers and bilingual students that they can also share with their parents. You can click the guided tour for that and the fact sheet. Now, for high school students, that is Britannica Moderna, and it is at a high school age accurate and age-appropriate content in Spanish. When you scroll through, you have access to these through these documents. You can see what the databases and resources are about if you have not had a chance to look at those before. And then all the way down, lots of great things for CTE classes in high schools with your English classes, Literary Reference Center, the Points of View database, Science Reference Center. These are amazing resources for you to be able to use. And then here at the bottom, visit the toolkit. You can access the toolkit in multiple ways, usually at the end of each one of these documents and in the icons listed when you open up NCEdCloud. EBSCO and Britannica have some new features, updates, and new products that are available to North Carolina PSUs beginning July of 2022. If you are on this presentation, you can simply click the link, and if you're watching the video, you can follow along. Remember, you can access those resources by logging into your NCEdCloud. There are promotional materials that are going to be updated throughout the summer that you can share with your staff and students in person, in hand, and even on your school website and social media platforms. If you have questions, Cynthia Sartain is the Northeast Central DPI consultant for digital teaching and learning. So some additions that are coming for Britannica, the Escalar and Moderna, which I told you about just a few moments ago, are amazing. The fact sheet and guided tour here. You do have the new premium Merriam-Webster unabridged dictionary. I won't spend a lot of time just reading through this for you, but please make sure you access this information at a time that would be convenient for you. This is paid resources that are available to all public school units in North Carolina. Now we're going to take some time to explore the resources. And in our in-person session, you're going to have time to be able to browse and review and dive into these amazing resources available that are now in your NCEdCloud dashboard. What I will have you do is I'll have you click the link for the collaborative sharing Jamboard. And depending on your grade level, you are going to be searching for in Britannica and in EBSCO. To look through those resources that are located in your NCEdCloud dashboard and identify 2 specific resources that you can use with your staff or your students, and simply add a sticky note with the resource name and how you can utilize it. There's multiple pages on this Jamboard for you to be able to spread out and make space. There's lots of participants that will be joining us. So there's middle school resources, high school resources. If we need to add another page, we will be able to do that. And then finally, at the end, if you have any questions, thoughts, or ideas, you can drop those here. And as we go through the 8 days on the roadshow with NCBOLD, we're going to have a lot of amazing ideas to be able to share. So I'm going to start the timer. We're going to take about 20 minutes to have our in-person participants to dive into and explore the NCEdCloud located resources of Britannica and EBSCO. So if you are viewing the video after NCBOLD 2022, I'd ask you to pause and then go take a look at those resources and add your responses to that Jamboard, because we have a lot of great ideas to share with each other. That was a great time in person for exploring and diving into those resources for Britannica School and EBSCO that are now located in our NCEdCloud on our dashboards. We'll take a few minutes to share in person, but I would suggest that you go through and review some of those ideas for your grade level on the Jamboard. We know that we get some of our best ideas from fellow educators. And when we share, some great things to take away are always available. So I'd recommend that you do that and spend some additional time reviewing and diving into those resources as well. You don't want to miss out. You want to stay connected. You want to stay updated. you should join the Britannica and EBSCO resources mailing list. You can click the link here. Once you are logged into the presentation, you can submit your information and you will be added to that mailing list. You'll get updates and information immediately when those happen. Some great things to be looking forward to stay connected and to stay updated. There will be some office hours for overview of our new products that will be available in EBSCO and Britannica School. Cynthia Sartain will be hosting those meetings as our DTL consultant. So if you have any questions or need some specific information regarding those meeting times, her email address is here on the bottom of the page. Let me remind you that these resources are amazing. They are provided for PSUs in North Carolina for students and staff to access and utilize. They are fantastic. So make sure you share this with your students. Make sure you share it with your staff in your school and in your district. And don't forget that resources toolkit is always available and you can access it multiple ways. The quickest way is by clicking on the icon on your NCEdCloud dashboard. And I don't want to end without giving a big shout out to NCDPI, Digital Teaching and Learning Team, and Cynthia Sartain, our North Central Regional Consultant, for creating and curating all of these help documents, the new promotional materials, going through and creating videos that are accessible in the toolkit. There's a wealth of information to share. So if you have any specific questions about the things that are available, any suggestions or feedback, you can always email Cynthia, and her email is listed here at the bottom of the page. And finally, I want to thank you again for joining me at NCBOLD 2022. Again, we're not talking about Bruno anymore, and we're not talking about NCWiseOwl, but we are talking about these amazing resources, quality resources that are available to all public school units in North Carolina, and they are easily accessible through our NCEdCloud login, and their icons are on that dashboard. Again, I'm Vanessa Sasser-Holt. If you have questions, comments, you want to reach out to me, please do so at the email that is on your screen. If you joined NCBOLD 2022 in person, or you've joined asynchronously through the videos, we'd love to have you tweet about it. So again, thanks for joining me, and I hope to hear from you soon.